Hi guys, this is Sadek from droidwin.com, and in this video, we'll show you two methods to install the latest Paranoid Android ROM based on Android 13 onto your OnePlus 7, OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus 7T, and OnePlus 7T Pro. So please take a backup of all the data, and do keep in mind that there exist two methods, the Fastboot method and the recovery method. We'll be showing you both these methods, so you may try out the one which you find easier to deal with. So on that note, take a backup beforehand and let's get started. So first off, I'll show you the Fastboot method. So for that, you have to install the Android SDK platform tools. This is the official ADB binary given by Google and is required to execute ADB command. So download it from the link given in my guide and extract him onto your PC. In my case, I've done the extraction in eDrive. You could extract him anywhere you want. Once that is done, you will have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. So USB debugging is required to execute ADB commands, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now carry out both these tasks. For that, go to the settings menu from your device. From settings menu, go to about phone and then tap on build number 7 times. You will now get the prompt that you are now a developer. So now go back and go to system. You should now see developer option. Go there and enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. You will now get the prompt on your phone. Tap on OK. After that, you might get one more prompt, which is RSA key fingerprint. So make sure to tap on allow. Once that is done, let's now verify the debugging connection. So go to the platform tools folder and go to address bar, type in CMD and hit enter. This will launch the command prompt window inside the platform tools folder, as you could see. Now type in ADB devices and make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you are not getting a serial ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC, disable and re-enable USB debugging, tap on revoke USB debugging, use the official USB cable that came with your phone, and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out this USB tweaks and make sure you are getting a serial ID. Once you are getting this ID and you have enabled OEM unlocking as well, let's now move over to our next step. So you will now have to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So do keep in mind that this process will wipe off all the data from your phone and it might also nullify the warranty. So if that's well and good, then you can refer to a guide and as well as the video on how you can unlock the bootloader. In short, let me show you what you need to do. So first off, you have to boot your phone to fastboot mode and then use the fastboot flashing unlock or fastboot OEM unlock command, and this will unlock the bootloader. Once that is done, you have to now downgrade to Android 11 firmware. Yes, this ROM requires you to be on the Android 11 firmware. While it's not compulsory, but it is recommended. And to be on the safer side, it's highly recommended that you be on Android 11 firmware. So to go to Android 11 firmware, there exist 3 methods. Out of these 3, I would recommend you to use either the MSM download tool or the Fastboot enhance tool. So the first one is using the official firmware, which the given by OnePlus. Don't use this method. Either use the MSM tool or the Fastboot enhance tool. In MSM tool, you will have to boot your phone to EDL mode and then carry out the task. On the other hand, via the Fastboot enhance tool, you could do this job via the Fastboot mode itself. So you could try out any of these 2 methods and get this job done. So you could, all the instructions have been given here to make sure to downgrade to Android 11 firmware. And once that is done, you could verify the same from your phone as well. So go to settings menu, then go to about phone, and from here you could verify the same. So as you could see, currently I'm on Android 11 version. So make sure you're Android 11. It's highly recommended to be on Android 11 firmware. Once that is done, you are now on Android 11 firmware. You can now move over to the next step. So next step, you now have to download the Paranoid Fastboot ROM for you. Since currently we are installing the Fastboot ROM, so as of now you have to get hold of the Fastboot ROM. So go to its official website. So let me show you. Go to its official website and from here select your phone. In my case, it's the OnePlus 7T. You could choose the phone of your choice. And once you are here, you just need to expand the latest version. In our case, is the stable one. So go there and as of now download the Fastboot option. Once you have downloaded the ROM, make sure to transfer them to the platform tool folder. So as you could see, this is a platform tool folder and this is the ROM which I have downloaded. In the Fastboot ROM, you should have an image keyword at the end. This signifies that it's an Fastboot image. So once you have downloaded the ROM, make sure to transfer the ROM in the platform tools and it should have the image keyword at the end. This signifies that it's the Fastboot ROM. So let's now move over to our next step. So now that we have the Fastboot ROM, you now have to boot your phone to Fastboot mode. So for that, you could either use the hardware key combination or use the Fastboot command. In my case, I'll be using the Fastboot command. So type in ADB reboot bootloader and hit enter. Your phone should now boot to the Fastboot mode and it should only take a few seconds. So let's wait while that is happening. And as you could see, my state is showing as unlocked. This signifies that the bootloader has been unlocked. So now you have to type in Fastboot devices and hit enter. Make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you are not getting any serial ID, then you will have to install Fastboot drivers. For that, I made a video as well as a guide on how you could install the fastboot drivers. Make sure to go through these steps and install the fastboot drivers. And after that, you should be getting a serial ID. Likewise, use the Windows X shortcut key to open the menu. Then select Device Manager. And from here, expand the Android phone section. And under Android phone, make sure your phone is being shown as Android bootloader interface. So this signifies that your PC is able to read your phone in fastboot mode, and you could now are good to go ahead. So now that we're in the fastboot mode, we could now flash our ROM. So for that, the first step is to use the fastboot update command followed by the name of the ROM file. So for the sake of convenience, let's rename the ROM file to simply ROM. It will become easier to type in the CMD window. So just type in ROM and hit enter. So with this, the complete name of the file is rom.zip. So now let's use the command and execute it in the CMD window. You could simply copy this command over here, fastboot update rom.zip, where rom.zip is the name of the ROM file. So once you have copied it, simply open CMD window inside platform tools folder, paste this command and hit enter. Make sure that the name of the file is rom.zip. So it will now start the flashing process and it could take a few minutes. So let's wait while that is happening. It will automatically reboot your phone to the fastboot mode. So that's completely normal. You should not interact with your phone while the flashing is going on. Likewise, it will also boot your phone to the fastboot D mode and it will flash the rest of the file. So you don't have to do anything. It will do all the tasks on its own. As you could see, currently my phone is in the fastboot D mode and the flashing is going on. So the flashing usually takes up to around 5 to 10 minutes. So let's wait while that is happening. Moreover, as you could see, you might get an invalid sparse file format and header magic. This is not an error. It's just a warning. You should simply ignore it. It's not a cause of concern. So simply leave it in the flashing state and it will do the job on its own. Anyways, let's now continue forward with the flashing steps and it could only take a few minutes. So let's wait while that is happening. The maximum amount of time usually is taken by the system.img file. Apart from that, rest of the files don't take that much time. So let's wait while the flashing is. So as you could see, system.img file is the one which usually takes a lot of time. That's completely normal, nothing to worry about. You shouldn't interact with your phone as of now and let it flash the file. So as you could see, we are again getting the sparse file format. That's not a cause of concern. So let's wait while the flashing is going on. Should only take a few more minutes. So in the meantime, let's discuss something else. So if at any point in time you want to go back to the stock ROM, in other words the Oxygen OS firmware, then you could easily do so either either using the fastboot command or using the fastboot enhance tool or via the MSM tool. So I have made a guide on that as well. You could refer to my guide. So by using the MSM tool, you could only upgrade till Android 11 because MSM tool, the last MSM tool for OnePlus 7 series is Android 11. So if you use the MSM tool, then you could only do the update till Android 11, and after that you could use the OTA update to update to Android 12. On the other hand, you could also use the fastboot enhance tool, and via that you could easily update to Android 12. So in the meantime, let's now check out the flashing status. So our phone is again undergoing a reboot, and as you could see, the flashing has now been completed and our phone will now reboot. So let's wait while that is happening, and you might now get a warning message. That's completely normal. Simply use the volume key to select factory data reset and press the power key to confirm. It will now reset all the data. So again select factory data reset and hit the power key to confirm. The formatting has now started, and as you could see, it will now remove the encryption and all the data from our phone. And so let's wait while that is going on. It should only take a few seconds. The formatting has been done and is now rebooting. So as you could see, now we are currently in the boot animation. So if after flashing the ROM, you could also use the fastboot reboot recovery command to reboot to the Paranoid recovery and then do a reset from there. Or as I've shown you, you could also do so using the stock recovery. In my case, I did via the stock recovery. That's not a cause of concern. You could do so both ways, either from the stock recovery or using the Paranoid recovery itself. In our case, as soon as we flashed the ROM, as you might have seen, as soon as we flashed the ROM, it was automatically booted to the stock recovery. We did not have to execute any command for that. So as soon as you flash this ROM, execute this command, the ROM will be flashed and it will take you to the stock recovery. From there, you will get a warning and you will have to format the data. Anyways, we are now booted to the OS. So simply tap on start and I'll simply skip the initial setup screen and I'll do so later on. Just simply I will show you the status of the phone and the OS. So as of now, let me skip all these steps, and it should only take a few seconds. So as you could see, we are now in the OS, and this is the latest Paranoid Android ROM based on Android 13 onto my OnePlus 70. So let me show you the screenshot as well, so you could verify, do some customization from the settings icon, and you could check out all the things from this page. So guys, this was the first method on how you could install the Paranoid Topaz ROM via the Fastboot method. Let me now show you how you could carry out this task using the recovery method. So for that, you will again first and foremost have to be on the Android 11 firmware. So if you haven't been there, then make sure to downgrade to Android 11 firmware. Once that is done, you could now move over to our next step. So assuming since I have already flashed this ROM, I'll once again simply flash this ROM on top of this. You should not do so. You should start from scratch. I am just for the sake of reference showing you this. So guys, let me now show you the second method on how you can install the Paranoid Android ROM onto your OnePlus 7 series using the recovery method. So for that, you will first and foremost have to be on the Android 11 firmware. So let me show you. For that, I'll be using the Fastboot Enhance tool. So simply, I have made a guide and the video on that. You could refer to my guide. I have already downloaded the firmware, stock firmware, and extracted the payload.bin file from there. Then this is the Fastboot Enhance tool. So simply launch the Fastboot Enhance tool, and let me now boot my phone to the Fastboot mode. So just a minute. If there's advanced reboot option, so there's no advanced reboot option. So I'll have to do so from here itself. So I'll quickly go back to the stock ROM. Just a minute. So first and foremost, I'll reboot to the recovery. For that, I have to enable USB debugging as well. Developer option, USB debugging. Okay. Actually, I had to boot to the fastboot mode and not the recovery. So I'll now boot to the fastboot mode. Currently, I'll show you the recovery of the Android Topaz ROM. So let me now boot to the bootloader mode, because the flashing is done in the fastboot mode itself. So with this, we are now in the fastboot mode, and let me now perform the downgrade. So as I have told you before, I have made a complete guide on this. You could refer to my guide on how to perform this downgrade. In this, I'm using the Fastboot Enhance tool. So you could refer to my guide and carry out this task. Or as I have told you before, I have downloaded the stock firmware, extracted the payload.bin file, and placed it inside the Fastboot Enhance tool. Likewise, I'll now open this tool, boot my phone to Fastboot mode, and select my device. Then I click on Reboot to Fastboot D. The flashing has to be done in the Fastboot D mode. So let me now reboot to the Fastboot D mode, and it should only take a few seconds. So now we are in the Fastboot D mode. Now click on flash payload.bin and select the Android 11 payload.bin file and click open. After that, the flashing should now begin. If you get a warning, the following partition may not be flashed, so just click on OK, check mark, ignore unknown partition, and again click on flash payload, select the Android 11 payload.bin file and click on open. So the flashing should now begin. As you could see, it's now started, and we are now doing a downgrade to Android 11 firmware. After this, we'll now flash the ROM using the recovery method. So while its downgrade is going on, as of now, we have just flashed the ROM using the fastboot mode, and I've shown you the installation steps as well. And now I'll show you how to flash the ROM using the recovery mode. For that, I'm going back to the Android 11 stock firmware, which is of OS 11 firmware, and then I'll once again show you the steps to flash the ROM using the recovery mode. So let's wait while that is happening. The flashing could take up to 5 to 10 minutes. So let's wait for the time frame. You should not interact with your phone while the flashing is going on. Once the flashing is done, it will take you to the stock recovery from where you have to do a format data. Yes, the downgrading will remove all the data from your phone. So make sure you have taken a backup beforehand. And once the flashing is done, you will be taken to the stock recovery, and from there you have to do a factory reset. And with this, your phone should boot to the OS. So anyway, let's wait while the flashing is going on, and then we'll be back. So guys, as you could see, the flashing has now been completed, and we have got the operation complete message. So just click on OK, and as of now your phone will still be in the fastboot D mode. So just tap on reboot system now, and it will go to the boot animation a couple of times. and it will then ask you to format the data. So let's wait while that is happening. So the entire flashing took around 10 to 12 minutes. So that's a usual time while you are doing a downgrade or flashing a Fastboot ROM using the Fastboot Enhanced tool. So usually it takes that much time. So as you could see, we are now in the stock recovery. So from there, select the language of your choice. In my case, I'm selecting English. Then go to wipe data and cache and tap on erase everything. This will wipe off all the data from your phone. So tap on this and again tap on this, cannot be undone. This will now remove the encryption and wipe off all the data. So once that is done, you could tap on reboot and our phone should now boot up. So let's wait while that is happening. The first boot up will take up a few additional minutes. That's completely normal and nothing to worry about. So let's wait while that is happening. In some cases, you might be again booted to fastboot mode. That's not an issue. Just use the reboot system now to boot to the OS. And in my case, I'm booting to the OS. So with this, we are now booting to the OS, and the first boot up could take up a few additional seconds because we have just installed a new OS, because we have just come from a custom ROM to a stock ROM, and this is the first boot up, so it will take up a few additional seconds. So let's wait for that is happening. So as of now, just to recall, I have first flashed the Android Topaz ROM using the Fastboot method, and once that was done, I will now show you how to flash the ROM using the recovery mode across all the OnePlus 7 series. So for that, first and foremost, I have downgraded my phone from Android 13, Android 12 to Android 11. By using the Fastboot Enhanced tool, I simply flash the Android 11 firmware payload.bin file. The flashing takes up to 12 to 15 minutes, and flashing is in the Fastboot D mode. You could refer to all these steps on my guide, as I have told you before. I've also made a video on this. You would also refer to my video in the channel Broadband videos, and then flash it. And once you are done with the flash, you have to do a format, and once the format has been done, your phone should now boot to the Android 11 OS. So once it boots there, we will then once again flash the ROM, this time using the recovery mode. So just to re-verify, we have done with the fastboot mode, and let's now show you how to do so using the recovery method. As I've told you before, the first boot up takes a few additional minutes. It's completely normal. From subsequent times, it will not take that much longer. So let's wait while the boot up is going on, and then I'll show you the steps to flash the ROM. So in the meantime, let me now close the Fastboot Enhanced tool. You could simply close it. It's no longer required. Just make sure that when you are flashing the stock firmware using this tool, you have to carry out the flashing in the Fastboot D mode and not in the Fastboot mode. So as soon as you launch the tool, load the payload.bin file and click on reboot to Fastboot D mode, and then flash the firmware. Anyways, as you could see, we are now in the OS, and we are now in the Android 11 firmware. So let's simply set up the device quickly. I'll skipping the rest of the things. So let me skip this as well and set up offline. So let me skip this as well. Tap on more, accept, and agree. Let's skip this as well. Let's skip this as well. Okay, next. Okay, so I'll have to do this. So just a minute, I'll complete it. So with this, we are now done with the setup, and we are now in the OS. So it is a Android 11 firmware based on Oxygen OS 11. So guys, let's now start with the second method to install the Paranoid Android 13 ROM onto OnePlus 7, 7 Pro, 77T Pro. So please take a backup of all the data, and then let's get started. So first off, you have to install the Android SDK platform tools. This is the official ADB binary given by Google and is required to execute ADB command. So download them from the link given in my guide and extract them onto your PC. In my case, I've done the extraction in E drive. You could extract them anywhere you want. Once that is done, you have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. USB debugging is required to execute ADB commands, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now enable both this toggle. For that, go to the settings menu. From settings menu, you have to go to about phone and tap on build number 7 times. You will now get a prompt that you are now a developer. So now go back and go to system. You should now see developer option. Go there, enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. You will now get a prompt, tap on OK. After that, you will get one more prompt of RSA key fingerprint. So tap on allow, but this debugging has been enabled. Let's now re-verify the same. So open a CMD window inside platform tools, type in CMD and hit enter. So with this, we have opened a command prompt inside platform tools. Now you have to type in ADB devices and make sure you're getting a serial ID. If you're not getting a serial ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC, disable and re-enable USB debugging, tap on revoke USB debugging, use the official USB cable that came with your phone, and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out this USB tweaks and make sure you're getting a serial ID. Once you're getting this ID, you will now have to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do keep in mind that this will wipe off all the data from your phone and it might nullify the warranty. So enable the OEM unlocking toggle from here, and once that is done, you could refer to a guide on how to unlock the bootloader on OnePlus 7 series phone. In short, you have to boot to fastboot mode and then use the fastboot flashing unlock or fastboot OEM unlock command. So guys, you will now have to download the Paranoid recovery ROM. So go to its official website, and from the website select your phone from the left hand side. In my case, I'm using the OnePlus 7T. So select the phone and then choose the latest build. At the time of recording is the Topaz stable one. So expand this link and click on the recovery option. Since we are downloading the recovery ROM, so you'll have to click on the recovery option. The ROM will then get downloaded, and let me show you. The ROM file should be something like this. So this is the recovery ROM. To differentiate from the fastboot ROM, in case of fastboot ROM, you will get an image keyword at the end, whereas in case of recovery, there will be no image keyword at the end. So this is the recovery ROM. So make sure to extract it. It's in a zip file. So extract the recovery ROM, and then you will get the file something as shown here. So after all these files, copy the payload.bin file and then transfer it inside the fastboot enhance tool. So this is the tool which I have also given a link on my guide. You could refer to my guide and download this tool from here. For the unaware, this tool could be used to extract the payload.bin file and flash the firmware onto your OnePlus phone as well. So download the tool from the guide given here and then extract it onto your PC. In my case, I have extracted the tool in the D drive. You could extract them anywhere you want, and these are the files of the fastboot enhance tool. So once you have extracted the tool, simply go to the downloaded recovery file and extract the recovery file as I've shown you here. Extract the recovery file and copy the payload.bin file from the recovery file and transfer it to the fastboot enhance tool. As you could see, I've already pasted the file over here. Let me just verify once. So this is file of 1.72 GB and this is also 1.72 GB. So make sure to transfer the payload.bin file from the recovery file from the recovery ROM to the fastboot enhance folder. As you could see, this is the payload.bin file. Now we'll have to extract the recovery.img file from payload.bin file. So for that, launch the fastboot enhance tool using the exe file. And once the tool gets launched, you don't need to have your device connected over here. Simply go to the payload dumper tab. From there, click on browse button. And from browse, you now have to load the payload.bin file which you have extracted from the ROM. So select the payload.bin file and click on open. It will now load the payload.bin file in the tool. Once the file has been loaded, go to the partition tab and simply select the recovery file. This is the recovery file. Select it and click on extract image. You will now have to choose the destination. For the ease of convenience, let me choose desktop only. So click desktop and hit OK. The recovery file will now be extracted onto a PC. One of the biggest advantage of this tool is you could easily extract individual partition file. There is no need to extract all the payload.bin. Rather, you could easily select a single file and extract it. So with this, the extraction is now complete and we are getting an operation complete message. So let's now access the desktop, and as you could see, we have got the recovery file. So copy the extracted recovery file from here and paste it in the platform tools folder. So let me show you. Just paste the file over here, and now we will flashing this file. So just to reiterate, download the recovery ROM from the official website, the recovery option, and once you have downloaded the ROM, extract the ROM, and upon extraction, you will see this folder. So this is the zip file, this is the extracted file. Upon extraction, go there and copy the payload.bin file, then paste this bin file inside the fastboot enhance tool, and from there, you have to launch the fastboot enhance tool, load the payload.bin file, select the recovery and extract it. Once you have got the recovery.img file, you then have to place the file inside the platform tools folder, as you could see. Once that is done, we could now move on to our next step. So after that, you now have to boot your phone to the fastboot mode. So you could either do so via the hardware key combination or using the ADB command. As for this guide, I'll be using the ADB command. So open CMD window inside platform tools and type in ADB reboot bootloader and hit enter. So our phone should now boot to the fastboot mode, and it should only take a few seconds. So let's wait while that is happening, and after that, as you could see, our phone is now in the fastboot mode. So let's now verify the fastboot connection. So open CMD window inside platform tools and type in fastboot devices. Make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you are not getting a serial ID, then you will have to install fastboot drivers. For that, you could refer to my guide on how to install the fastboot drivers on your PC, or you could also refer to my video as well. Once you have installed the fastboot driver, make sure you are getting a serial ID. let me show you once again. Likewise, use the Windows X shortcut key and select Device Manager from the menu. Then expand the Android phone section and make sure your phone is being shown as Android bootloader interface. Let me show you. So if your phone is being shown like this and you are getting a serial ID, then it signifies that your PC is able to read your phone in fastboot mode and you are now good to go ahead. So guys, we'll now have to flash the Paranoid recovery in the fastboot mode. So make sure you have the recovery.img file in the platform tools folder as you could see over here. If that's well and good and your phone is booted to fastboot mode, simply launch the CMD window inside platform tools. So let me launch a new window here, command prompt window here, and now we could flash the recovery file. So in case of OnePlus 70 and OnePlus 70 Pro, they both have the recovery partition. So you could directly flash the recovery file in the recovery partition. On the other hand, in case of OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro, they don't have the recovery partition. So you'll have to flash the file in the boot partition. So in case of 70 and 70 Pro, you could use the Fastboot Flash recovery.img. But in the case of OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro, you will have to use the Fastboot Flash boot recovery.img. So as you could see, in OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro, we'll be using the flashing the boot partition, whereas in case 70 and 70 Pro, we'll be using the recovery partition to flash the recovery file. So in my case, I have a OnePlus 70, so I'll be using this command. If you have a 7 or 7 Pro, make sure to use this command. So anyways, let me now simply copy this command. Again, re-verify that the name of the file is recovery.img and is placed in the platform tools folder. Now since my phone is OnePlus 70, so I'll simply flash the file in the recovery partition itself. So it's a Fastboot Flash recovery.img. Hit enter. The flashing will now begin and it will flash to the recovery partition. And as you can see, the flashing is now done. And you will now have to boot your phone to the recovery mode. So for that, you could either use the hardware key to bring up the recovery option and press the power key to confirm, or you could use the Fastboot reboot recovery and hit enter. This will also boot your phone to the recovery mode. So let's wait while that is happening. The process should only take a few seconds. And as you could see, our phone is now booted in the Paranoid Android recovery. It's quite similar to the OnePlus stock recovery. So let's now move on to our next step and install the ROM. You now have to apply from ADB. So for that, use the volume key to select the apply update from ADB and press the power key to confirm. Let me focus it. So as you could see, so now press the power key to confirm. And our phone is now in the ADB sideload mode, as you could see. So now open CMD window inside platform tools and type in ADB devices. Make sure it's showing as a sideload keyword. So with this, our phone is now in the sideload mode and we could now proceed ahead. So next up, you now have to sideload the ROM file. So for that, make sure that the ROM which you have downloaded in the zip format. So this was the ROM which you have downloaded in the zip format. So copy this ROM file and transfer it in the platform tools folder. So let me do so. So simply transfer the ROM file over here and it should take only a few seconds. This is the zip file of the recovery ROM which you have transferred. So make sure to transfer it over here and the transfer should only take a few seconds. Once that is done, we will now be flashing this ROM using the ADB sideload mode. And currently, as you could see, our phone is in the sideload mode. So the transfer is about to get complete. And for the sake of convenience, let's rename the file to something shorter. So let me show you. This is the ROM. So for the ease of convenience, right click on it, choose rename, and let's just rename it to ROM. So the complete name becomes rom.zip. So with this, we could now sideload the ROM. So just open CMD window inside platform tools and type in ADB sideload and name of the file, which in our case is rom.zip, and hit enter. It will now start sideloading the ROM package. As you could see, you could keep a track of the same from the phone. Inside the CMD window, the process might get stuck at 47%. That's not a cause of concern. It's completely normal. So you could keep a track of the same from the phone. The first step, which is verifying update package, and the step 1 of 2 takes the maximum amount of time. The rest of the steps only take a few seconds. So as of now, it's verifying the file with whether it's built for a phone or not. And after the verification, it will start the flashing. So while the flashing is going on, let me discuss something important with you. So whenever you are doing a side loading, so you might get something like this. Let me show you. It's applicable across all the custom ROMs. So in case of side loading, the usual success message that you get on your CMD window should be something along the following lines. So let me show you. Okay, just a minute. It's not there as well. So let me show you with some other ROM. In the meantime, let's now check out the results. So currently the process is completed till 32% and it's verifying the update package. So as I have told you, it might get stuck at 47%. That's completely normal and nothing to worry about. So let me show you that as well, and then I will continue with the discussion. So let's check out the status, whether or not it gets stuck there. In most cases, while the side loading is going on, that tends to happen. So let me check out whether it's happening right now or not. So as you could see, it's stuck at 47%, and once it reaches the 47% mark, the flashing has now started, and so it's moving ahead. So this means with this ROM, that's not a cause of concern. So it's showing the complete percentage, so that's well and good. You will also keep a track from here. As you could see, it's currently step 1 of 2. So this is the step that takes most of the time. The step 2 of 2 only takes a few seconds, and this is the first custom ROM in which I am seeing that the side loading process is actually being shown in the CMD window. On rest of the custom ROM which I have done the side loading, it gets stuck at 47%. So this is the only ROM in which the progress is actually going forward, and it's good to see. So anyways, let's wait while the flashing is going on, and it could only take a few more seconds. So it's currently side loading the ROM, and this is the first step which takes the most of the time. The second step does not take that much time, and once the side loading has been done, you will once again have to do a format data which will remove all the data from your phone. So we will do that as well to remove the encryption and boot to the OS. So from 0 to 47%, it will first verify the update package, and then from 48% onward, it will start flashing the ROM or side loading the ROM package. So this is the recovery ROM package. Make sure that you always download the correct ROM package. If you go to the website, then it has two different builds. One, the fastboot option is for the fastboot ROM, whereas the recovery option is for the recovery ROM. So as of now, we are using the recovery ROM. To differentiate between both this ROM, once you download the ROM, in the fastboot ROM, you will have an image keyword next to it, as you could see. Whereas in the recovery ROM, there will be no image keyword next to it. Moreover, in the fastboot ROM, you will get the files in the partition.img format. As you could see, this is the fastboot ROM. Whereas in case of the recovery ROM, you will get the payload.bin file, as I've shown you before. So this is the recovery ROM, and recovery ROM has the payload bin file. So you will have to extract it using the fastboot enhance tool. Whereas in case of the fastboot ROM, you could easily extract it using and get the partition.img files. So this is one more differentiating factor that you keep a note of. While you could also flash this file using the fastboot command, but that could prove to be a risky. So a much better approach will be to simply flash the firmware using the fastboot command. In case of recovery, you could simply sideload the recovery zip file after extracting the payload.bin and getting the recovery or boot file. If you have OnePlus 70 Pro, you need the recovery file. In case of OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro, you need the boot file. Then flash those files onto your phone. Let me show you once again. So flash both this file onto your phone. Once the flashing has been done, you have to boot to this recovery. And as you might have seen, the recovery is near about similar to the stock recovery. It is something that I have seen the first time. For all the other ROMs, it's the AOSP recovery is different for each ROM, but in case of this ROM, the recovery is near about same as the stock recovery, with just a few additional options such as the sideload option. So once you are in the reboot recovery command and you will be taken to the stock recovery, from there you have to choose apply update from ADB, and you will be in the sideload mode. From the sideload mode, you have to then transfer the recovery ROM file in the platform tools folder, and from here make sure to rename it to something shorter. In our case, we have done the rename to ROM. This is the recovery file which we have renamed to ROM. This is the recovery version of the ROM file, so we have renamed it to ROM, and then you could use the ADB sideload rom.zip command to sideload the ROM zip file. The process takes up to around 8 to sorry for that. The process takes up to around 8 to 10 minutes, so you should wait for the time frame, and it's just about to get over. So let me show you that. So as you could see, the process has been completed. You can keep a track of the same from your phone as well, or from there. So once that is done, you will now have to do a factory reset, which will remove all the data from your phone. So from here, use the volume keys and select wipe data factory reset, then press the power key to confirm, then again select factory data reset and press the power key to confirm. It will now reset all the data from your phone, and once that is done, you could now reboot your phone to the OS. So simply select reboot system now and press the power key to confirm. your phone should now boot to the newly installed ROM. And as I've told you before, the first boot up will take a few additional minutes. That's completely normal. So let's wait while the booting is going on. So as you could see, this is the boot animation. And with this, we have just flashed the ROM using the recovery command. So I have shown you both the methods using the fastboot mode as well as the recovery mode. I will highly recommend you to use the fastboot mode. It's quite a lot of shorter and easy to carry out. There are no complications involved. Whereas in case of recovery method, there are quite a lot of complication, and you also have to first extract the payload bin file, get the boot and recovery image file, and then flash it. After that, you have to sideload the ROM. So a much better approach will be to simply flash the ROM via the fastboot mode. So it's the recommended method, and you should always stick with that method. If in some case you want to try out something new, then you could go with this method. Anyways, I have shown you both the methods. You are free to try out any one of your choice. So with this, we are now in the ROM. So as before, I'll be skipping with the initial setup and take you to the OS. So let me set up this device quickly and skip the list of the things, and I will now boot to the OS. So as you could see, we are now in the OS, and this is the Android Paranoid Topaz ROM based on Android 13. And let me show you the settings menu as well. So from here, you could check out the results. You could directly install the subsequent OTA update from the system section. No need to do the sideload every time. Apart from that, there are a few animations and gesture style that you could carry out from here. Is the Monet theme engine. It has a few additional customizations as well. As you could see, the system fonts as well, and theme icons, dark theme. So this is the dark theme, as you could see. So guys, on that note, I round off this video. I have shown you two methods to install the Paranoid Android 13 ROM onto OnePlus 7, 7 Pro, 7T, 7T Pro. If you have any queries with regard to any of the two methods, do let me know in the comment section. And guys, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks. Thanks a lot for watching.